good. We good. It's the daily. It's the daily go get mism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about the lion ass Donald Trump tonight. We haven't talked about anything political in a couple of weeks, and I thought it was time. And you know the reason that I thought it was time because oh my God, this is like dealing with this administration is like dealing with somebody that can't stop shoplifting. Seriously, this is like dealing with somebody that can't stop stealing. So no matter how many times they get caught, no matter how many times they get locked up, no matter how many times they get banned from stores, they're still going to push the issue and they still going to try to do what they do. This is the most chaotic, idiotic, ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this before, except in 2017 to 2021. That was the only time I saw anything remotely close to this, and I didn't miss it. And here we are once again. Here we go again with you. And I don't know, man. I don't know. So, I thought we needed to have this talk about distraction because, we talk about distractions a lot in the news. We talk about distractions, whether we're talking about it in the sense of, the administration trying to keep you from thinking about the more important pressing issues as it regards to politics, local, national, international, or whether we're talking about in this administration, what I consider to be every move that's made is born out of a distraction. Now, am I the only one who feels that way? I don't know. But I do know this. It's for a person that seeks peace in their lives, for a person, or should I say, for a person that seeks peace in their life, for a person that doesn't like reality TV, for a person that doesn't really like to deal with a whole lot of craziness and contention and disarray and chaos and crazy mixed up misunderstandings and doesn't like a lot of messiness, this is not the administration for you. And even if you are the staunchest Trump supporter, I doubt if you appreciate having to defend him at every turn and trying to spin everything that he says and everything that he does into some type of sensible thing that you would never think of yourself. Now, see, that's not genius. When you think about the disruptive student that used to go to school with, they weren't geniuses. They weren't messing up in school and always having to go to the principal's office and always being reprimanded and always getting suspended and always getting into fights and things like that. They weren't doing that because they were geniuses. They weren't doing that because they were smarter than everybody else. They weren't doing those things because they were misunderstood. They were doing those things mainly because they were having problems at home and they may have been having some internal problems with themselves. And so here we are. So when I talk about the distractions, going on with this administration, I don't know anything that they do that could not be seen as a distraction. The thing is, they're distracting you from another distraction. While we should be concentrating on promises made, promises kept, or promises made and promises and more promises made, or never delivering on the promises that were made originally or initially, we have all this other stuff that they're adding in the gumbo. And speaking of gumbo, for all of my culinary experts out there, all of the culinary experts know that comes a point in there comes a point when you've made a dish and you have seasoned it enough. And that's whether you are cooking on the stove or baking in the oven. If you're baking a cake or some pastry or cookies or something like that, you know that there is a certain point where it's sweet enough. You don't want to make it too sweet. You don't need to turn it into like a diabetic seizure coma type of thing. You don't need to do that. The same way as if you were cooking some food on the stove, you know that there's a certain point where you have seasoned the food enough. Anything more than what the seasoning is that you gave it would be overkill. You're doing too much. And it's not going to taste as good as it would have had you put the brakes on it. So whether you are using salt or spice or whatever it is that you use to season your food, you know that if you go too far, then it's not going to taste well. Well, in this political administration, it seems like there's never enough seasoning. There's never enough seasoning. They just keep adding in more. A little bit more salt, a little bit more garlic, a little bit more sage, a little bit more, what is it? Is it thyme or is it thyme? THYME. A little bit more paprika, a little bit more lemon pepper, a little bit more pepper, a little bit more this, a little bit more that. They just keep putting more and more and more in it. Anybody who cooks knows that all seasonings don't go together. But this administration doesn't seem to recognize that. No. They don't seem to recognize that at all. This administration seems to think that pour some more in there. But it has enough. It's hot enough. No, it's not hot enough. Put some more chili peppers in there. Put some more jalapenos in there. Put some more fire in there. Red peppers. Black pepper. Pepper on pepper. There's so many peppers in the world, especially down in there's so many peppers in Latin America, South America, that they have peppers that actually get you high. That's how hot they are. They give you a feeling of like, you just smoked something, sniffed something, shot something, pop something. What up, Dipples D's? What's good? How you feeling? Emily Dunlap in the house. Or Emily Dunlap not in the house. She's somewhere sleeping with her phone on. But I appreciate that. And also, T. Carey, right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. Buana Haguski, what's going on? How y'all feeling, man? So here we are, talking about these distractions, talking about this administration one more time. One more time. What Buana say? America loves that red meat, big bro. Man. Okay, so if you analyzed it to be meat, you ever taste a steak that somebody put too much salt on? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Jeff Sprayberry, what's good? If you've ever had a steak or lamb, goat, whatever meat, chicken, when you make it too salty, it doesn't taste good. For a lot of people like spicy food, and some people like it extra spicy to the point where you can barely taste the flavor of the food. And if you've ever had some food cooked by somebody who had a heavy hand with the hots, like you don't really want them making your food a whole lot. You don't want them doing that because it's just a little too much. Just Rayberry says, of course, there's a such thing as too soft. Right. But in this analogy, we're talking about this presidential administration because they don't seem to know that there's a such thing as too much salt or too much spice or too much sugar or too much bitter. They don't seem to understand that. So they just pour on more and more and more and more. This thing is like an amusement park. You know, when a child goes to an amusement park and they see all of these rides and they don't know which one to get on first. You know, one of those things that calms you down from wanting to just jump on this ride and that ride is the long lines that you have to stand in order to finally get on the ride. It smooths you out because it lets you know that regardless of how bad you want to get on all of these rides, you're going to have to be patient. Because the line, you know how it is on those hot summer days and you're at the amusement park and you're going through those turnstiles, through those, it's like a maze. Where, you know, you on the long rides, you know, there are hundreds of people in the line. And the lines move fast, but you're not going to walk right up into the ride and get on. That's what's not going to happen. So, this administration, to me, and actually to a lot of other people, this administration seems like they are just allowing you to just get on any ride you want to. You don't have to wait. So if you want to go on the finance ride, you no problem. You can get right on it. If you want to go into the social issues ride, you can go ahead and get right on it. Immigration, get right on it. International, or should I say, foreign policy, get right on it. We complete nothing. Nothing is being completed. It's like everything is being done at the same time, and somebody believes that somehow it's going to form together like Voltron. And it's going to be this amazing picture. I've literally heard Trump say this. And you know what, another thing I think is interesting? And nobody has brought this up in a while. And this is what pisses me off about the left. This is what pisses me off about the left sometimes. Because there are certain times when they'll be right about something. They'll pick out a particular issue that isn't being addressed and they'll harp on it. And then for some reason, they'll just abandon that issue like it never happened. And it makes you wonder, well, was it a significant thing from the beginning? Now, this is what I'm talking about. Remember when Donald Trump was campaigning a year ago? Take it back to a year ago. And in all his interviews, he would dodge questions, avoid questions, go off track, and just start talking about whatever he wanted to talk about when you asked him a direct question. And they called it the weave. You remember that? When was the last time you heard the word weave mentioned? Because he still does the same shit. Now people are questioning his cognitive abilities. I don't know if talking shit your entire life means that your cognitive abilities are being called into question. But I think it's a little late for the question. But I haven't heard that weave shit. Like, they actually branded talking gibberish, not being focused, and being unable to concentrate on a single issue. The weave. So you just talk all of this shit like you didn't hear the question or don't understand the question. And somehow he branded, pretty much ADD. Pretty much. Jess Rayberry said that's why when you go to Disney, you bring kids, you can go through the kids swap line. Oh, okay. I've never been to Disney. But if I ever go, and I won't, um, that's good to know. Varshay, Varshay McDonald, what's going on? My good to see me some you all the time. All the time. It's never there's never a time that it's not good to see you here. What's going on? How you feel it? Jeff says, just like every show that Kamala went on, they gave them the question. They gave them the question to ask her. Oh yeah. Yeah. So are you saying that the reason that she could focus on questions and answer questions precisely, even though people tried to say that she never answered questions when she asked them, like, which one is it? Which is it? Kamala already had the questions prepared, so she answered them correctly, or it was word salad? Because I remember last year everyone saying that, you know, she just talked, she just used a bunch of word salad. Well, why would you need word salad if you already knew the questions that were going to be asked? Which one was it? Which one was it? Which you know, I mean, because you know, I'm pretty good at revisionist history, you know. But what I remember them saying, no matter how directly she answered a question, and she did answer questions directly, they would always say word salad. So word salad is normally when you're saying a whole bunch of shit and you're really not saying anything. But last year, word salad meant that no matter what she says, I don't want to believe her because she's not my candidate. So yes, she's answering the questions directly because she already knew the questions that were going to be asked, but they still called it word salad anyway. Which one is it? See, I remember these kind of things the same way that I remember them, you know, I remember the Democrats saying that, oh, well, no, I remember Trump branding not being able to answer a straight question and them calling it the weave. Calling it the weave. Now you don't hear a word about weave, and he's worse at answering questions now than ever before. But now he's the president. So basically it's, I said what I said. I said what I said. I mean, I just want to know though. I mean, because if the questions were prepared, they said, Kamala, these are the questions that I'm going to ask you. I know that as a prosecutor, she was smart enough to know exactly what to say. But they said word salad. Which one is it? What's it going to be? What's it going to be? I know one thing. Kamala Harris is not the president of the United States. So we left her in 2024. But look what we have now. What do we have now? So when I say that everything that he says and does is like one distraction from another distraction, I mean that. I mean that we have a whole lot of shit being done at the same time, no focus on any one thing. And any student knows when you have a lot of classes, let's say, you know, in college, you took a full schedule. Maybe you bit off a little bit more than you could chew. So a full college schedule for a semester is 12 credits. That's the minimum. That's the minimum that financial aid will pay for. I still remember this shit. And so let's say you took 19 credits, which is a lot. Trying to get enough credits to whereas it would make your load lighter as you went on from being a freshman to a sophomore to a junior and then eventually a senior. So, but you know, when you take 19 credits in one semester, that's a heavy load. So you're going to have to really, really, you know, settle down and dig in order to do well in all of these classes, because that's a lot of classes. Most classes are 3 credits, So how that's 6 classes in order to take 19 credits. That's 6 classes of 3 credits, and then one of those 6 classes are a 4 credit class. So it probably has like a lab to it. And there are different kind of labs. You can have lab science, or you can have lab, even a language lab. Like if you take Spanish or French or German or Italian or whatever language you choose to take. But anyway, so on those 6 classes, if you don't finish your assignments in each class, you're going to wind up fucking up a whole semester because you're going to get overwhelmed trying to do a little bit in each class instead of doing the smart thing, which was like maybe take 15 credits, 5 classes that you can manage. So, you know, so that's kind of like what we have going on here. What do we have? We had Doge coming out the gate. How'd that go? You could say it's completed. Didn't accomplish shit. Definitely didn't accomplish what they said. And this is the problem, because the reporting, like whenever Donald Trump is throwing numbers out there, they're unreliable. Like, I don't care how staunch a supporter you are of Donald Trump. What you can't do is take his word as law. What you can't do is take anything that he said as fact, because he cannot stand up to fact checking. Let's not call it fact checking. He cannot stand up to effective research or questioning. Doesn't do well with that. He can't do well with that. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. All right. So you said as a prosecutor, she knew exactly who to go down on. Oh yeah. That's interesting, because she doesn't have any kids. But your candidate, you think he went down on a few people? Your candidate admitted to never using condoms. So I don't know. Maybe Kamala Harris was barren. Maybe she couldn't have children. It happens. It happens. But let's say she went down on somebody. She's a woman. I would imagine that she would probably blow somebody. I would imagine. You know what I mean? But if that's the worst thing you can say about her as a prosecutor, and that's coming straight, that's not even knowledge that you have. That's like straight from the media, straight hating media. But I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly how they would distract you from concentrating on the issues. Oh yeah, she screwed her way to the top. Yeah? Huh. Well, how many of them got screwed? That's what I would ask. But let's keep it moving. Okay. Dude, you can say the same for both sides as far as information. You're not getting the truth from any news network. I don't care which one it is. And I'm not talking about the news networks. When I said the left, look, I mean, I'm not sure what you want from me, because I said that first the left was saying that, they were getting on him about the weave. Now they're not getting on him about the weave anymore. But I would expect a politician to defend their guy. Because in some way, each politician is going to benefit from that, because the game is about money. When tax-paying citizens start to defend the unscrupulous activities or unscrupulous behavior of a politician. That's the thing that makes me scratch my head, because I'm like, well, what are you getting out of that? You know, let's take Nas and Jay-Z. When they were in a heated media battle, some people really like Jay-Z and some people really like Nas. So if Nas puts out music that really isn't that good, as a Nas fan, I could say, yo, that what you talking about? The record ain't good. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's better than Jay-Z's record. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And of course, I would expect Jay-Z fans to say, Jay-Z's records are better than Nas. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. In my defense of Nas and in my opponent's defense of Jay-Z, each one of us are just paying to hear music. So we're buying CDs. We don't get shit. So if my Nas doesn't put out good music, and although he's one of the greatest rappers ever, he doesn't always put out good music. I can be totally objective about that. He used to pick the worst beats ever. That's one thing I could never say about Jay-Z. Every beat, every fucking beat, he kept his production and his producers on point. He did not miss. I was a fan of both, so it was easy for me to be objective with both. I think Nas was the better rapper, but it's close. I like Nas's material a little better than Jay-Z's, but it was close, very close. I'm talking about maybe 99 to 100. Let's say 95. Manifest Reality says Nas is better. See, it's a judgment call. It's a judgment call, you know? But my point is this. When us tax-paying citizens defend a politician, well, we better be getting what the fuck we're defending. So I'm wondering, well, with somebody like Trump, what are we getting? Because fuck all of that. I don't know him personally, and I don't give a fuck. What have you done that you said you were going to do? What projects have you completed? Now, of course, people are going to pivot and deflect and say, well, he's only been in office for this time and that time. Well, the big problem that we have here is that you have a politician that you're defending who doesn't respect timelines. He's a show me now type. So when he says things like, I'm going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. I'm going to also end the war in Gaza in 24 hours. We have no reason not to believe him. I'm sorry. We have no reason not to take him seriously. I'm sorry. I mean, I knew that there was no reason to believe him because he is very, very truth challenged. He is fact challenged and truth challenged, but he said it. Nobody's going to expect you to do things that you didn't say. Nobody's going to expect you to live up to expectations that you didn't set. But he has a habit of setting those expectations, putting them all out there. So what are we doing? Currently, the war in Gaza is still going on and it's going on strong. And currently, the war in Ukraine is going on strong, stronger than ever. But he also, fuck that. That's foreign policy. Let's go to domestic policy. Because now everything is about fraud, waste, and abuse. Fraud, waste, and abuse. That's the default setting. Anytime, you start questioning about how the fuck you gonna pay for this? Or why did you eliminate that? or why did these people get fired, or what the hell are you doing? Then we go to fraud, waste, and abuse. Oh, look at this dickhead. Well, at least you paid to say that. Where are you from? CA. What country is that? What country is that? I just remotely downloaded 15 gigs of CP to your. Okay. You paid to say that? You know what? This is great. That's the first super chat that I didn't celebrate. Wow. Normally I'm full of gratification and you know, like, yo, you know, showing love and all of that. Not this time. But yeah. So let's take it back to domestic policy. Did the price of your food go down? Maybe somewhere in this country, the food prices have gone down, but not in mine. How about that? How about those gas prices that we were told were going to come down on day one? Did they come down? In your area? Reduced in any way? Has it lowered itself? Are you able to buy more food than you were before? Let me know, because here, no. I went food shopping today. It wasn't pretty. I managed to spend under $100, but it won't last me more than about a week. Real shit. Maybe a week and a half. If I stretch, nah, it won't. It won't. It won't. But so those are the things I care about. Even the whole immigration thing. How's that been going? A lot of victories in that department, right? Do me a favor, y'all. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Daily Go Getimism Show. I'm your host, Sun752, aka Omar with the and if you can't say Omar with the well, then you just say Omar with the R. So, are your grocery prices less than they were? Is gas in your area $1.87 like the president of the United States had the audacity to say, as if he would know? Is gas under $2 anywhere in the United States? Spoiler alert, fuck no. But these are the things that was promised on day one. So, you know, I'm trying to think of a world where even a friend or loved one of mine could keep promising me that they were going to do something and not delivering it, and where I would still believe that they were going to do it. I'll give you one scenario or one area where this might fly. And that would be sports. Sports. As y'all know, I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan, right? But I know that all 32 teams in the NFL, probably all of them say that this is going to be our year. We're going to the Super Bowl bound this year, regardless of how ridiculous it sounds, depending on who your team is. So that might be the one area where no matter how much they said we're going to compete for the Lombardi Trophy this year, I would know if my team is good enough to actually do that. So I understand that the goal is to win the Lombardi Trophy. That's it. Every year, the goal is to win the Lombardi. So I might still support my team year after year after year because I'm still looking for that Lombardi. The thing is, no team guarantees the Lombardi because you can't. You can't. You have to go through training camp. First of all, you have to go through the draft. You have to go through free agency. Then you go through mini camp, the OTAs, mini camp, training camp, 17 games of the regular season. You have to do well in those in order to make it into the playoffs. And then you have to play in sudden death playoff games. So if you don't win your conference, that means you have to play the wild card, the divisional, the NFC championship in order to make it to the Super Bowl. And then you have to win that. All in sudden death. Lose one game and you're out. So if my team didn't make the playoffs, I would probably say, well, you know what? They made a good run. Maybe they're rebuilding. Maybe they have to, maybe they have some prospects that they can draft or some free agents that they could trade for or whatever and be a better team next year. Maybe there's some problems with coaching, but I would stick with my team. My team is not an elected official. My team is not putting money in my pocket or taking money out of it. Well, they do for me because I'm a season ticket holder. So yeah, when I say I'm part of the Eagles, I'm part of the Eagles for real. I feel like I have a little bit more say so than the average fan. But nonetheless, that's the only scenario I can see where I would go for that bullshit with them telling me that they're going to deliver something to me that they didn't deliver. There's no way I would keep believing that shit. So there's no way I can believe a Donald Trump when he says that he's going to be able to end 2 wars in 24 hours and that had he been president before, the wars would have never started. And when he says that the price of food is going to go down, he ran on that shit. He ran on the economy. People who were scared or were shy or were embarrassed to be Trump supporters or MAGA supporters were the ones who brought up the economy. I'm only voting for Trump because of the economy. I don't think that we can have a better economy under Kamala Harris than we can under Trump. Even though you know that the ideas that Trump had for strengthening the economy were dumb as hell and born to fail. You knew it. Any economist, anybody who who deals in finance knows like, yo, this is not a good idea. This is not a good look. It's not going to work. This is going to hurt more than it helps anybody. But we can tell you exactly who is going to help. And it ain't the people who voted for him. It may be the people who arranged it for him, but it ain't going to be the ones who voted for him. Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I don't understand. I really don't. I don't understand the fandom. I don't get it. I don't get it. And, cult of personality. You ain't seen it. I ain't never seen no shit like this before. It's crazy. And he's not a good businessman. I live on the East Coast. I live in Philly. That's 60 miles away from Atlantic City. I remember him putting up those 3 casinos, Trump Castle, Trump Plaza, and Trump Taj Mahal. Who the fuck thought that would work? You got 3 of your own places competing with each other, and they all lost. Bankrupt. How is he good at? Maybe somebody can show me where he has done really well in business. There's some more shit to this. There's more to this. My man Dillard B. Commons. It says, I lean conservative and voted for Trump myself. I tune in to hear alternative perspectives, and I will probably join in for some dialogue here soon. I love the work, man. Well, I appreciate you, my dude. I appreciate you mucho. And yeah, we don't always have to agree. I don't know how many times I have to say that. We do not have to agree on this show. What we do have, I mean, what we should do, I can't say what we do have to do. But what I can say is that what we should say, I mean, what we should do is respect the logic that each other have to offer each other. Respect the logic. You don't have to accept it. You know, like if my mom was a whore, I probably wouldn't appreciate people, reminding me of that. I probably wouldn't. But if you're going to call my mom a whore, then let it be in the context of whatever we have going on. Because if we're doing something productive and my mom is helping out, what do you care about what do you care about her bedroom activity? I mean, I'm just saying. Friends don't call each other's moms whores. Friends don't call friends' moms whores. But I get it. I played sports. So I know how. Okay, all right, wait a minute. I hate when people do that. Okay, wait a minute. Wait. Let me get some of y'all comments in here. Okay, Buana says Trump was getting pissed on in Russia, and this guy talking about Kamala going down on someone. Manifest Reality says as long as it wasn't more than twice. Jeff says, like I said, I'm not the biggest Trump supporter in the world, but you guys didn't have a candidate. That's why he won. Are you kidding me? That's why he won. Visuals are a motherfucker. Because when you see that voting map and you see all of this red, it really looks like a landslide. But when you look at the numbers, it's not a landslide at all. Even when Democrats win, the map is mostly red. Because those red states just don't carry a lot of electoral votes. Big states that don't have people in them. So even when Democrats win, they never win red states. Democrats never win Texas. And Texas carries a lot of electoral votes. The most in the country, right? All right. You got Texas and then California. Texas carries the most. But Democrats absolutely never win Alabama. Absolutely never win Mississippi. Absolutely never win Tennessee. We don't win those states. So the map always looks redder. Even when Democrats win in a landslide, the map is still going to look more red than blue. So when Republicans do win, it looks super red. But when you look inside the numbers, he didn't blow Kamala Harris out in any states. It just didn't work that way. And my bad. I'm talking about the swing states. I'm talking about the battleground states. He didn't. It was like 51 to 49, 51% to 49%. It's not a blowout. But I understand for his own edification, he needs for it to be a blowout. What I don't understand is how that affects you. But let's keep it moving. All right. Pee Wee says you're talking to 11 people. Good job. And which number are you? When there was 11 people, I wonder which one, which number, which one was Pee Wee, y'all? Do you know? Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. But I'm glad. I love when people come in here and talk about how many people that they see, because that's the gas right there. And that's one of the reasons why Donald Trump is in office right now. Because he keeps you on, he keeps your mind thinking that, look at the way he speaks. He speaks in absolutes and he speaks in grand gestures. Nobody wants that. Like, not some people. He says things like nobody, and he says things like everybody. And when he talks about things like crowd sizes and things like he's very big on popularity and what the majority of people think. Like the majority can never be wrong. Well, the majority felt a certain type of way about Nazism in Germany. How'd that turn out? Were they right? Because they were absolutely the majority. Absolutely. We're talking about totalitarianism. How'd that work out? If the Soviet Union, if they had votes, if they would have allowed votes, the majority of people would have voted for communism. How'd that work? How'd that turn out? How'd it turn out? You remember the Cold War? I remember the Cold War. We almost back at it. All right. Jeff says, so you tell me what Kamala Harris accomplished in all of the time as a prosecutor. You're not serious, are you? What did she accomplish? Well, she must have accomplished something, because black people was mad as shit about all of the innocent brothers that she locked up over small marijuana offenses. So she must have accomplished something. You know, it's funny because, you know, a prosecutor's job is literally to prosecute. It's literally to get motherfuckers, cased up and locked up. That's literally her job. And niggas was mad because she was doing it. Now, you may have said, well, it ain't right because those were small quantities of marijuana and little minor crimes. And she prosecuted them to the fullest extent of the law. Kind of like what a prosecutor is elected for. She wasn't soft enough for a crime. But this is the shit I'm talking about. What did she accomplish as a prosecutor? Wow. All right. Okay. Let me see. You said the same thing I'm getting out of trashing Trump. Well, no, I'm not trashing Trump. I'm calling him on the fact that he lied to me to get to where he is, and now he's not delivering on what he said he was going to do. If that's trashing him, boy, you know, I live in Philly. Our city is on strike, so I know a lot about trash right now. My trash day would be tomorrow, but it's not going to happen. But you know, let's keep it moving. All right. Manifest says, you know, we like them both, but I like Nas' lyrics. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Lyrically, yeah, Nas got that shit, but I can't say Jay couldn't get with him, because Jay can freestyle. And I haven't known Nas to be able to do that. I haven't known him to be able to. Matter of fact, he can't. He's not good at that. That ain't his thing. Hey, man. He said, hey, back then there was also Run DMC. We can't even add them. Bluegrass, he's a 2 weeks guy. Oh my God, that 2 week shit. Oh, we got some people who pay attention to what this motherfucker be saying. Yo, he loves it. What is it about 2 weeks? He's the most. I'll get back to you in 2 weeks, motherfucker, I ever seen in my life. All right. Canada. I'm from. Basement Rant says, I'm from Chinese America. Shut the fuck up, you dickhead. All right. Manifest Reality says, not down here in Florida, not at all. You talking about food prices and gas? Yeah. I don't, Just says, I hate it when people do that. We might disagree on politics, but at the end of the day, you're my dog. I'm facts on facts. Facts on facts. So let's finish fighting. All right. Gas price. Jeff says gas prices and food prices are down in Georgia. All right, let's take a look. Let's see what the average price of gas is in Georgia. And I hate when we have to do averages. You know what I mean? Because you don't get like a really good perspective like that the people who live down there would get. But let's see. What's the average price of gas in Georgia? Shit. The average price of regular unlimited gas in Georgia is currently $2.902 per gallon. Mid-grade gasoline is averaging $3.32, I guess. These prices are slightly lower than last week and last month. So you're talking about $2.90 for gas. You good with that? I mean, you good? I don't know what the average price of gas is in Philly, but I know it's over $3. So in some places it might be like $3.09, and other places it might be like $3.35. So, all right, so Georgia average gas price currently 2.7, 3.2, 3.6, 3, 4. So yeah, I don't know. All right. So regular, it looks like $2.90, and then $3.70 for premium. Like I said, those are the averages, but okay. I mean, it could be worse. We know that, right? I want to say hi to all my attention seekers today. You have come to the right place. You have come to the right place today. My man Jay Sloan, I see you. I see you in there. What up, my dude? What up? Amani Chowdhury? Okay. All right, let me see. Jason said, friends' moms ought to be respected. They're working girls. True. What up, Taz? And Onafon? I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, and I'm sure I am. And Onafon says, Poland loves Trump. No, they don't. I got it. Good looking hunky says, oh no, I'm not reading that shit. We are dependent since Reagan. That's not how you spell Reagan here, but it's all good. Good looking says, now he did blow out Kentucky. Okay, cool. Jeff says, in the Democratic primary, she was the first one out. She didn't win. She was given the position. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. No argument there. No argument there. No argument there. She was absolutely the first one out. But you know how they say, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish, right? Buana says, ain't it better to speak to 11 quality people than 100 goofballs? Man, boy, you wise. Buana says, the masses are asses. They really are. Because, you know, like, even just doing this YouTube thing, I know what I'm up against. You know, when people see a video that already has like hundreds of thousands of views, they're going to watch that shit. Even if the video is 3 hours long, they'll watch that shit. But if they see a video that may really, really pique their interest, and they see that it only has like maybe 20 views, under 100 views, they say, it must be garbage, because everybody, if it was great, everybody would be on it. And when you have somebody like the president who understands that and who preys on that, well, this is what we get. This is what we get. So we literally have a mentality of millions of people, millions of Americans who say, well, if he was so bad, then why did he get voted in again? While ignoring the fact that their food is high, their gas is high, it's hard for them to buy a house, all of that old shit. And inflation was supposed to go down. That's the one thing he guaranteed. And inflation is not going down. Let's say that we cook in the books, though. Let's say the books were cooked enough to say that inflation itself is going down. How does that play out in your life? Do you feel? It's like when they say the economy is great and you still not getting paid enough to get the things that you want or need. What the fuck does it matter if the economy is great? Now, you know, when they say the economy is great, they mean that corporations are doing well. They don't mean the average working person. They don't mean the person that makes under 6 figures or under 7 figures, I should say. They're not talking about you. You don't count because you're just a taxpayer. They mean that Amazon is doing great. They mean that Apple is doing great. They mean that Home Depot and Lowe's, Exxon Mobil, that's what they mean. Not you. Not you. It ain't hard to tell, because all of the times when they were talking about, even during the Biden administration and the first Trump administration, they were talking about how great the economy was. But I'm like, my paycheck isn't any bigger. Oh, it must just be my company. Maybe everybody else is getting paid, but they're not. So it's just like when they talk about unemployment. Unemployment is at an all-time low. So that means you just stop paying benefits. It doesn't mean that people are working. It doesn't mean that people are making money. The unemployment rate is calculated by the number of people that they have to pay for unemployment benefits. So they only count the people that they cut checks for. So when they, you know, anybody who has ever had to collect unemployment knows that they give you a certain timeline that you're going to receive unemployment benefits. In other words, your check. And after that time is gone, if you haven't found a job, you can either file for an extension or you get kicked off of unemployment. You know what happens when you get kicked off unemployment? They say that now the unemployment rate has gone down because they don't have to pay you anymore. They're not talking about all of these people out here who are actually physically unemployed. They're not counted. They're only counting the people that they got to pay unemployment benefits to. You know how many people have been told that and still don't fucking get it? So, I mean, when they talk about the unemployment rate is down, it should go in one ear and out the other. Because your ass may not have worked in months, but you're not receiving unemployment benefits, so you don't count. They're not talking about you. But they are talking to you. All right. Okay. Let's see. Where were we? GA? Is that what? There are people that are practicing shitting out in the open on a normal basis. Americans too radical with their politics. Waste of brain power. Okay. Cool. Sandor Clegane? Or Clegane? I don't know. No list here, guys. Now watch this. Totally not a video. I don't know what that means. Let me just shout out some people. Yasir. What up, Yasir? Mallory. What's that? Ragdoll Cat. He said, at least we getting a UFC outside of the White House. Yeah. Can you fucking believe this shit? Yo, thank you for that, Ragdoll Cat. I'm fucking you. Yo. All right. Oh, shit. He also says, Amazon is a company we use every day. Biden was senile, bro. Okay, let's say Biden was senile. That senile motherfucker had the stock market on some. But once again, we couldn't feel it. We couldn't feel it. So, and trust me, I'm not no big Biden guy. That's the difference between Trump and Biden is this. Nobody fucking went around caping for Biden. There were no Biden hats. There were no what did Biden have a slogan saying build back better, some shit like that? Build back better, some shit. There nobody buy no hats or no t-shirts that said that shit. He didn't brand nothing. There was nobody running around here, Biden. Nobody. He didn't get that. That's Trump. Trump is the one who sells sneakers. Trump is the one who sells watches. Trump is the one that's always in your pockets. Grifting like a motherfucker, and y'all go for this shit. Even make excuses for it. I don't get it. A billionaire that's in my pockets all the time, I'm looking at you mad sideways. I guess you figure that's what a billionaire is supposed to do. How do you think he made $1 billion? Well, why the fuck you helping? I don't know. Court Knox says your lineup cold. Man, I'm shocked. I got actually, you know, I appreciate that, my dude. I appreciate you. Appreciate you saying that. I'm only doing this for people who think my shit is fake. You'd be amazed how many people would come on here and be like, yo, what is this fake ass beard you got? And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, do I have to? I mean, what the fuck? I ain't Steve Harvey. I'm not Steve Harvey. All right, let's talk about what we came here for. The Epstein files. What is going on with the Epstein files? Another distraction. But this is important. Jeff Epstein supposedly committed suicide years ago. sex offender, pedophile, friend of Donald Trump. Friend of Donald Trump was said to have a client list, a long ass client list. Now, before when Biden was president, they were saying, why don't y'all release the Epstein files? Because it was thought that you were going to see nothing but Democrats on the Epstein files. Nothing but Democrats. Those pedophilia loving, free sex, LGBTQ Democrats. I don't know who wasn't paying attention. Everybody knew that Trump was oh, damn, here I am acting. A lot of people knew, a lot of people knew that Donald Trump was close friends with Jeff Epstein. A lot of people knew that. Donald Trump certainly remembers. But he said he was going to release the Jeff Epstein files. He released the JFK files. He released the Martin Luther King files. But somehow the Epstein files they hit a snag. They didn't get released. And then Trump gets in this heated exchange and this disagreement with his boy, Elon Musk. Elon Musk, who funneled $270 million into Donald Trump's campaign and manipulated the algorithm on Twitter, X, in order to seal the win, or at least greatly contribute to Donald Trump winning the election, right? All right, so now the White House is trying to say that there is no Epstein client list. What are we doing? What are we doing? Pam Bondi literally said that the client list for Jeff Epstein was on her desk. This is about 3 or 4 months ago. She said the client list was on her desk, ready for her to review it. She's going over it. Now they say, no, there's no client list. After Elon Musk already said, the reason that the Epstein files aren't being released is because Donald Trump is all over them. He was dropping bombs that Elon. What you doing, Elon? Elon is like a scorned lover. You're like a scorned lover. You don't give me what I want. You shit on me with that big, beautiful bill. I'ma tell on you. Elon knows something more than a lot of people know. And remember, he was in charge of Doge, so he had access to information that none of us will ever know about. Elon knows some shit. Will he ever use it? Who knows? Let me see. Marvin Bigby says, my nephew is a big MAGA man. He lives off of his 78-year-old mother and won't work. Wow. Wow. Dillard B. Common says, Edwards ignored Trump's willingness to answer questions about Epstein's behavior, suggesting Trump was not protecting him. This is cited in court documents in Edwards' book, Relentless Pursuit, in 2020. It says Trump and Epstein had a public dispute over a real estate deal in 2004, specifically the auction of the Mason Mason Day. Damn, that's French. I can't read it. I mean, okay, but y'all can see it. Mansion in Palm Beach. Okay. He says, this is detailed in his book, The Grifters Club 2020, with co-author Sarah Blasky citing a Mar-a-Lago member's account. The ban occurred before Epstein's 2008 guilty plea. Well. So, you know, Trump running around here doing what Trump does. Anytime one of his minions or one of his appointees gets in trouble with the law or goes against him or leaves his administration, I was never a fan. I never liked him. I barely know the guy. I was never a fan. Didn't like him. Barely know the guy. Never a fan. Didn't like him. Never a fan. I mean, barely knew him. Sorry. I mean, that's his default setting, ain't it? I barely knew him. I don't know that motherfucker. Like, yo, you appointed him. I mean, I appointed him, but you know, I mean, shit, I appoint a lot of people. he called his generals the worst general. I'm like, yo, man, what the fuck? But it is what it is. Now, how many of y'all honestly believe that there's no Epstein client list? Like, the shit that they will try in the Trump administration is ridiculous. But I don't blame them, because Trump supporters keep supporting. They like, I've had Trump supporters look me in the face or come right here on this show and say, you're just mad because he won. You're just mad because he won. No, actually, they say, I'm just mad because they won. They never say he won. They say we. So I'm like, well, who the fuck is we? Who is we? No client list? Come on, man. No client list? That's what we doing? No client list. Like, nah, man, you know, it's all, what was a song by Genesis? There must be some misunderstanding. There must be some kind of mistake. 'Cause I've been waiting in the rain for hours and you were late. And there must be, oh, misunderstanding. And there must be, oh, misunderstanding. What are we doing? Let's look at the results of this poll. Do you believe that Trump is being straight with the American public, or does it matter to you? Well, what have we here? 52% out of 44 votes so far says no, he lies through his teeth. 18% say he's our president and he's great. 16% say he's better than Biden, so what? And 14% says the most incompetent president ever. Oh my God, this shit is fucking beautiful, I tell you. Fucking beautiful, man. Fucking beautiful, dude. This is crazy. Hey, do me a favor, y'all. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, man. It helps the channel. The channel needs help. It helps the channel, and the channel needs help. I appreciate any and all support on all platforms and on any level. So thank you. Please hit the like button. So So, the way that they're playing around with this Jeff Epstein thing, I know that this is getting under Donald Trump's skin, but shit, you know, I'm almost thinking to myself, like, what difference does it make if he's involved in this in some kind of way? Like, what has he done or not done before that has made people wane support for him? When you go through the list of his when you go through the list that he has done during his two administrations, look how he handled COVID. Look how he handled COVID. Now, whatever you think about COVID, whether you think it was just a hoax or whatever, I know people who died from COVID. So I don't know about you, but I know multiple people who died from COVID. You say I'm lame? Well, thanks for coming through and supporting my lame ass. That's how that works. But like I said, look how he handled COVID. He said that there were only 15 people who were infected with COVID. And then when people started dying and when the hospital started filling up all crazy, he said that it would just miraculously go away. This is one of the reasons why I would never be able to, or should I say, this is one of the reasons why I don't think that we would ever be able to trust Trump's account on anything that happens, because he's always going to play it down if it seems like it's negative or going to come back on him. He's always going to play it down like it's not really what it is. And he makes a lot of people believe that bullshit. So the same way he dumbed down COVID and then all of these thousands of people died. I don't know how many people died from COVID, but I know one thing. It was way over zero. And it wasn't in the hundreds. It was well into the thousands. I'm sure that there was some profiteering going on when it came to the numbers of people who died from COVID. But you look at the way that the president of the United States handled a national or international crisis like that. Piss poor. Piss poor. And it really showed you why experience in politics is necessary. But he survived that. Then you had the January 6th insurrection because he couldn't fathom. He couldn't deal with losing a presidential election. And what did he do when he lost? He said that he won. So like I said, you can't trust his account on things. The numbers clearly said that he lost. You could not find evidence to support that he won. But he said that he won, and he made people believe that he won to the point where they were riding for him and they stormed the Capitol. That didn't stop him from getting elected again, though, did it? So those things which were major. Oh, did I forget that he was impeached twice in his first term? Who does that? He survived that too, right? He survived that too. So with all of that, then you come to he won a second term, albeit after losing the first term, but he got elected again. And now you see he came right in with the bullshit. Doge. Oh, this is going to save 1 trillion. It wasn't even 500 billion. I don't even think it was 300 billion. Even Elon said it was more like 150 billion. You know how far 150 billion is from 1.7 trillion? Well, keep counting. And what up, JW? What's good? My man Troy Diesel is in the house. What's good? How you feeling? And oh damn, I forgot. Thanks, Buana. He was sued for sexual assault. The boy rapes. So I'm like, if he's in the Epstein files, I don't see how it's going to do shit. I don't. I mean, is this like the last straw for some of y'all? Trump supporters, is this the last straw? Is this if I find out that he raping women is one thing, but kids, oh, hell no. That's for Democrats. Pedophilia is for Democrats, not Republicans. Well, remember, Trump used to be a Democrat. He used to support Democrats. He used to give money campaigns, Democrats. You remember that. Don't act like he been with the GOP for a whole hell of a time. Yo, you'll see that he probably has the chance to get back to it because he flow like fluid if you let him do it. And I know for a motherfucking fact, y'all going to still ride with him even after that. So there's nothing it seems that he can do that would make him get off the dick of you. Or should I say make you get off the dick of him? I don't know what's going on. This shit is crazy like a rim. Yo, the rim shot, yo, it didn't go in the hole, but he's still at the top of the mountain, total control. And my soul is still intact, but not his. Y'all don't care because it's still biz. You said, yo, speaking of biz, yo, a lot of people say they want the United States run like a business. Run like a business. You know, sometimes you have to watch what you're asking for, or at least know what you're asking for. Sometimes you got to watch what you're asking for, or at least know what you're asking for. Because if you want the United States run like a business, remember, businesses do everything in order to cut your ass out as an employee. Just remember that shit. And businesses only concentrate on the bottom line. Remember that. When you say that you voted for Donald Trump because he's a businessman and he can run the United States like a business, just remember that businesses only care about the bottom line. They're only in it for the money. So you as a person will not matter to a person that's only concerned with business. Like the same way that you got hired at your job, wherever you work, you only got hired because they wanted to make money off of you, and they do. So no matter how much your salary is, and no matter how much overtime you make, or how many raises, bonuses, and promotions that you get, they will always make a whole shit pile way more than you. And I'm just talking about you personally. I'm not talking about what they make as a whole. So if you make, let's say you make $45 an hour. If you make $45 an hour, then they're making about $200 an hour off of you. That's the way that works. So when you say that you voted for Donald Trump because he's a businessman and he can run the United States like a business, just understand what you're getting yourself into. You probably weren't thinking that far, and most people aren't thinking that far because they don't understand what business means. There are plenty of people who are in business who really don't understand how business works. There have been people who have opened businesses and the businesses failed because they didn't understand how businesses work. And the people who have opened businesses and those businesses failed, a lot of times it's because they tried to put the humanitarian effort into those businesses and the shit don't work. You keep your mind on the money when it comes to business, and you do your private shit, or you do your humanitarian work outside of your business. And the chances of your success are greatly increased when you do it like that. So when you're talking about the United States being run as a business, just make sure you understand, because the businesses that you work for, they're always trying to trim the fat. They're always trying to limit your benefits, especially your entitlements. And look, it looks like that seems to be the direction that the United States is headed into now. If I'm not mistaken, entitlement benefits, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, So, yeah. Just something to think about. I could be wrong about a whole lot of stuff. Thanks, JW. Thanks for coming through. Marvina Bigby says, I can't ride with Trump. He makes me nervous. Man. And M says, using the material for blackmail is the most evil thing imaginable. And only someone devoid of any light in them at all would ever do that. The Fall of Rome 2.0. Access to Rome, what's good? Yo, what it do, Unc? Hope you've been doing well, man. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I'm doing great. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know how you pronounce this dude's with name that starts with a J, but look. Oh, you leaving now? All right. Bye, Jay. All right. My man, Troy Diesel. What's going on? How you feeling, my dude?
What's up, bro?
Man, everything is good. Everything is good. You know, because it's all right. When the love is strong, we going to get right back where we started from. What up?
I swear. This Groundhog Day, every morning, every fucking day I wake up, it's always seems like it's another day of Trump. You know what I mean? Every fucking day. He's in a news cycle more than I take a shit. God dang.
Flood the zone, baby.
Gosh. It takes me out because every time you turn around, they need to tell me that this man, first of all, they said he didn't kill himself. Epstein. Then they say he killed himself. Then second of all, we see all the pictures. I see, you see, we see all the videos of him dancing in front of it, with Epstein, girls, and having a good old time. But now he's saying it's the client list. In Donald Trump's office, in the people that work for him says this. What's his name? Patel. But one
Cash Patel.
Yeah, Cash Patel. I call him the baller. He Donald Trump teabags him on a regular. Just squat over top of him and just, hey, take that. He's a new Diddy, Donald Trump is. Without the baby oil.
Shit, I think he the old Diddy.
He the old Diddy with new experience. Instead of him using baby oil, he used Bengay Unlimited.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I got you.
I swear. I see the dance you took.
I'm saying, you know what I mean? That Trump dance. Hold on, let me get up. You know what I mean?
Shit like rockin' soccer robot.
It's funny how people can do the Trump dance better than Trump. You know, they be getting, you know what I mean? They got extra moves with it. I'm like, nah, that motherfucker, you know what I mean? Do the Trump dance. Ain't nothing else moving. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing but arms. Do the Trump dance. Fuck the Trump dance. You know what I mean? Fuck the Trump dance, biatch.
Macho, man.
No, his song is the YMCA, remember?
Yeah, YMCA. He doing put the gayest song out there. He don't like transgender.
Shit. He likes something.
LGBTQ. But he's dancing to that music.
Yeah, he likes something. I ain't going for that shit.
Oh, man. He's hilarious. Some of his big, beautiful bill.
The big, beautiful. The big, beautiful is beautiful. What up, Spartacus? What's good, man? It's beautiful. But yeah, man. But that's where we at. That's where we are with it. Them motherfuckers talking about something. There's no client list. Client list? What client list? Like, come on, man.
You must. Let's say phone book. What about phone book?
You're right. Like, yo, they've been talking about that client list for mad years. But when it seems like they man is gonna be all over this shit, they like, they done found something that they don't think Trump can fix. Like, we can't fix this shit. And they keep calling for it. Why they so? We gave them JFK and MLK. What they want this one for? But originally, they thought that only the Democrats was on that shit. This was their kryptonite. You was gonna see Bill Clinton and I don't know, all them nasty ass Democrats was gonna be on that thing, yo. You nasty ass Democrats. Well, in my Gomer Pyle, surprise, surprise, surprise. Well, man, motherfuckers, you got more than what you bargained for. So, hey, it is what it is.
Sure.
But
I'm gonna tell you this much. Rest assured, that list is gonna be released. Somebody in one of them offices will release that. I wouldn't be shocked. It's gonna be like Watergate.
I could see them releasing it, but not the right one. Because remember, they released the first one, but it was just like the call list, and that was already public knowledge. Like they called all of these reporters up, and they gave out the Epstein files, and they thought, oh, I got the Epstein files. That shit wasn't nothing but, you know, they had all these redacted names out of this shit. It was bullshit. They couldn't do nothing with that. They couldn't do nothing with that. They thought they redacted so many names out of the damn paperwork they sent out. It looked like a fucking damn game, a crossword puzzle in the newspaper that she was using black marker. That's really literally what it looked like. So now they realized Trump is on that shit, and Elon came out. I mean, I don't think anybody really needed Elon to say this shit, but actually some people did. If you listen to nothing but Fox News all the time, or you just listen to Trump and you believe all of that shit that he says, then you wouldn't think that he wasn't telling the truth. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could easily buy a Brooklyn Bridge off of me and a Queens Bridge off of you, maybe a Golden Gate. Which one you want, man? You want the Brooklyn or the Golden Gate? Which one you want to sell?
Golden Gate, go to San Francisco. San Francisco dirty as shit right now.
All right. How much you gonna sell? How much you gonna sell the Brooklyn for?
Let me see. 5.2 billion.
Damn, you high. I'm gonna sell the Golden Gate for like $100. I'm gonna make it easy. Get that shit sold real quick. Like, yo, man, you want the joint? I mean, it's long as shit. Hey, give me a bean. You got a bean? Give me a bean. Today your lucky day. Look, that's yours. That's yours. Because it's a cash sale. I don't want the tax man to come, so I can't give you no receipt. But it's yours. But yeah, right? I mean, with my $100, scoop that. So yeah, we knew that there was a client list, and people who are really diehard Trump supporters, they need somebody like an Elon Musk to come through and actually put Trump on blast. Because Trump has made he has made all his supporters believe that you should never believe anything a reporter on or any of the networks have to say. Nothing. But that's only when he's not on the network. If he's speaking on the network, you should believe everything that he says. you got to turn down your laptop or either your computer or your TV.
Wait a second. Give me a second. There we go.
Are we good?
Yeah, we good. I'm glad Kim's ain't on here.
Oh, yeah, fuck me, but you worried about Kim. I got you.
No, because y'all like to play tag. You ain't Kim, Kim. You ain't so you go too.
Yeah. Spartacus says Trump 2024. I will release the Epstein list. Trump 2025. What Epstein list? Yo, you ain't never done lied. Yo, he literally said he was going to. Yo, that's crazy. In 2024, he did say he was going to release the list. Now they like, hey, it wasn't no list. What list? So I think they're going to they're going to wind up losing that whole thing. It got burned in the fire. Rats ate it. You know what I'm saying? Something is going to happen to those files, man.
Well, during 9/11, it got messed up in the World Trade Center.
It fell in the shredder. We had a floor shredder. Somebody knocked it off the desk.
No, Cash Patel dog ate it. He ate the homework.
Fucking Cash Patel. And I'm like, why should anybody listen to what Cash Patel has to say? Why should anybody believe what Cash Patel has to say? What's up with your man Patel? Cash Patel.
This so-called asshole, he speak on things that he should just not even be thinking about.
Who's that?
He gonna get dickhead Trump.
Oh.
He gonna say that the commander should change their name back to the Redskins.
Actually, with that I agree.
Yeah, well, it's not so much as us agreeing with it. It's a respect thing for. Now there are some Indians or Native Indians that said that they wish they never changed it due to the fact that it was more of a respect thing when they used the Redskin name.
Well,
that's what some of them said that.
Yeah, I first of all, they had a long-standing tradition. That's number one. And other markets didn't have to change their shit. Now the Cleveland Indians, they changed theirs, but the Chiefs didn't. Why didn't the Chiefs why didn't the Chiefs have to change their shit and they still running around? Oh, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? So they picking and choosing. I don't know. It's a little weird. And that new name that they gave the Cleveland Indians is ridiculous.
Guardians.
What the fuck is that? You go from the Indians to the Guardians? The Cleveland Guardians? That was worse than the Washington Wizards.
They should have called themselves the Cleveland First 48 because that's all you see the episodes from Cleveland. The Cleveland First 48.
Luis Zuniga says the fans do that. I don't remember them stopping them from doing that. And they got that shit from Florida State. They got the whole band. And they called the Seminoles. Why didn't Florida State have to change their name?
Well, you know Florida ain't changing Seminoles.
I'm just saying.
That's true.
You know, like...
Mayor, what's his name? Mr. Moore, that's the mayor of Florida.
Mayor?
I mean, governor of Florida, DeSantis.
Yeah.
Fucking dickhead.
Very much so. But I'm just, so I mean, Yeah, change that shit back to the. They had a whole fight song.
His new name is Stu Santis.
They had a whole fight song with the "Hail to the Redskins." How you gonna say "Hail to the Commanders"? I mean, if you going,
Redskins.
if you gonna,
I mean, they sit right with the Eagles. The Eagles fly, bro.
I wouldn't say that it rivaled it, but I will say this: they had a lot of. They was very spirited in singing the shit. It was a pretty good fight song. It ain't as good as ours because
It's not as good,
we don't.
I'm just saying, if you're a Redskin fan, you were singing that song. It was a good song somewhere.
Hold on. We got another call on the line. I don't think it's gonna be good. If I bang on you, you know why. Hold on a second.
You have a call from
There be common.
Okay, cool. Caller with the last number is 8426. Welcome to the Daily Go Get It Business Show. What's on your mind, my dude?
Man, it's Dillard, man. Just calling in, man.
Appreciate you.
Man, it's been an interesting dialogue tonight, man. I just wanted to share a few things, man. And man, just as far as the Epstein stuff, man, I feel like, man, and maybe it's just because I kind of follow this thing closely from when it first started to bubble up into public discourse. And I'm like, I want to ask you a question, man. Do you recall the first time you heard of a client list with Jeffrey Epstein? Maybe what year it was?
Let me see. When he died, and I mean, yeah, died allegedly, whatever. Because some people say that he ain't really whatever. What was that? 2000. I don't think I heard of the client list till maybe like 2020. Well, I mean, it might have been all the way when Trump started talking about running back for president again. So that might have been like 2023, 2020, maybe 2022, maybe.
Man, the reason why I ask is because, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, especially on the conservative side. I can only speak from my experience, but and I feel like I was never convinced that there was like a mythical list of people. I remember first hearing about it in like 2015, 2016 when he was first indicted and convicted. And I think the first time I first heard the media talk about it was again around Trump's first campaign in 2016. And you started hearing the term client list. And I'm just going back through the timeline, man, and kind of figure out where this terminology came from, because in the court documents, it said two different things that I think that people started to run with this client list thing. And it was a black book and it was flight logs. And when the court documents came out, both of those things were all but made public pretty early on. Because, you know, these things are all brought up in court. So you heard Prince Andrew, Trump, Clinton, all were on flight logs. All of these prominent people, Dershowitz, obviously the attorney back in the OJ trials, was on these flight logs. And I don't ever want to be in a place to defend Trump because there's a lot that's undefendable. But we see all the evidence that I've seen was we see the little James Island and the plane called the Lolita Express. Those were people that were documented to go to the island during the times we know that these sexual misconduct was happening. And I kind of put a few things in the comments earlier that, man, Trump ain't on those. But we do see the confirmed list of people that was on those, and there's Dershowitz, Prince Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously Epstein himself. The earliest you can get of Trump being on flight logs was Atlantic City, where he was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane prior to their fallout. So I'm kind of just wondering, and then again, I'm going back. maybe I'm naive a little bit, but I never believed there was an incriminating list that was like, here's all the people that we sex trafficked, and here's us documenting it. Like, I don't think that the list to begin with was what it was ever hyped up to be. So I never had confidence that it incriminated. It's like, I remember when Diddy first got convicted, they said, well, when we going to release the Diddy list? It's like, do you think Diddy was sitting down, writing down names and dates of all the people that went to these parties? Like, I never was convinced that list was a thing to begin with. And the two things that we thought were the list was flight logs and a contact book. So again, maybe I'm naive, but I never believed that list was a thing to begin with. I think that the list came into fruition from amalgamation of those two, the flight logs and the contact book, both of which have been public information since 2015.
Okay. All right.
Am I naive for thinking that? What's your feedback, man?
Well, I think that, I've known people to document certain things. Even serial killers have done shit like that. It's the weirdest shit. You know what I mean? There's some people who really revel in reliving some of the nasty shit that they've done. You know, there have been plenty of people who have committed sexual assaults, even murders, and taped the shit and didn't destroy the tapes. I don't know if they went back and watched them later on. You know what I mean? But you know, people do this kind of stuff. So I can't say whether or not, but it wouldn't surprise me if somebody like Jeff. I mean, look at the way pedophiles move. Now, how many people have to get caught on the internet? You know, trying to be pedophiles on the internet. How many people have to be caught that way in order for people to stop using that method? But they don't, do they? They don't. Because they really believe that they're smarter than everybody else. So one of the things that people who want to keep secrecy do is they become non-secret, which is weird. But they figure if I have something on you, if I can show you where I have you doing what we're doing what none of us are supposed to be doing, then it'll keep you from telling. Sometimes it works. A lot of times it works. So, but I won't say, you know, for with any certainty one way or another. But I will say this. Evidently, there's something going on, whether it's the client list or whatever. There's something going on with the Epstein files that's going to make a lot of people or some people or at least one person very, very uncomfortable because it ain't being released. It didn't get released in any of the Democratic administrations, and it ain't getting released in the Trump administration either. My problem with the Trump administration is because there's so much chatter around it because he opened up his big fat mouth and said he was going to release it. Now he set the expectation that it needs to be released. So now he's going to have to shit or get off the pot. And he seems to be taking a long ass shit.
And I think you're absolutely right. It's when you promise it and then don't deliver it. And part of me thinks, man, some of it is like the myth is funner. I think and again, this is speculative, but it's like I've been convinced for a long time that there was a lot more to the JFK. Could it be that reality is a lot more boring than the speculation? Because when we see secrecy or when we see an apparent cover-up or when we know that things are redacted, I think it allows our minds to race and wonder, well, what if this, what if that? And when reality comes and it's not as, because I mean, these JFK files have been combed over and have been released for months. And all the fun theories, it's like, well, when we see reality and it's like, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
How much of it do you think that is? It's like maybe there was a genuine belief that there was a client list or that there was incriminating evidence against the opposite party
on both sides. And then when you actually have access to the files and you say, well, everything that he was convicted for and went to jail for was what we have available. And outside of what was on hard drives or files that we can't release, obviously due to the protecting the people that were involved or the graphic nature of them, it's like reality is a little bit boring, and it's what he was convicted of, he went to jail for.
Mm-hmm.
So could it be that the theory was funny, and then once we face reality, neither side has enough incriminating evidence? Is that a possibility?
Okay, I'll say this. You're definitely right when you talk about reality being boring. I wouldn't say that reality is boring, but you have to go through the whole process in order to get to the smoking gun. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like watching TV and movies and all of that. You see how different court is on a TV show than it is in real life. Court is boring as fuck when you actually are sitting in the proceedings, because there's a lot of procedure going on. It takes a long time to actually get to the meat and potatoes, Yeah. So this ain't Matlock. You know what I mean? This ain't Law and Order. We're not going to get those smoking guns. We ain't gonna get those smoking guns fast like that. But that doesn't mean that there's not some deeply incriminating evidence in there. Now, let's whether there's a client list or whatever you want to call it. The real problem here is that Pam Bondi said that the client list was on her fucking desk.
Yes.
Before Cash Patel said that there was a client list. Now you can't. How do you come up with a list that you said was on your desk and that you were reviewing it? How do you walk back that? That's the problem we're running into. So what were you just calling it a client list? And if you were just calling it a client list, where's it at? Where'd it go? Let me see whatever it was that you were calling the client list. But that's what they opened up this Pandora's box, and now they're trying to close the shit. Ain't gonna work.
I do believe that there's a client list. And Diddy didn't do a list. Diddy did videos. He weren't brought out through the trial, but rest assured, there's videos of the actors or actresses put in compromising positions that the FBI has. They already mentioned that, not through the trial, but through the investigation that is. So, at the end of the day, I can sit back, we can both agree or disagree on that, sir. I can understand where you're coming from.
Hello?
And yes, the client list was mentioned around the time that you said his first term when he was running for office. So we got it. Today, there's always, I just hate people not taking people. I'm not making sure this person is accountable. That's a big word to me. Take responsibility for your shit and stop putting this man on a pedestal as if, he's everything. Because he's all of them are just cooks and cops. They just keep running around stepping on each other's foot. They don't get things right. So at the end of the day, I believe he's a client list, just like I believe there was tapes and that Diddy did. I believe all that.
And again, not to say that I don't believe it. I just wondered where that term first came in, and when that term entered public discourse, it was never based in there is a list or there isn't a list. I think it was an amalgamation, again, of the flight logs and the contact book. Now, if it had been, when it first came out, it's like there is a definitive list, then I could understand why people would be up in arms about, hey, you guys said that there was a list and there wasn't. Now, going back to what Pam Bondi said, again, that's where she has to be held accountable. Is like, even if you take the defense that says what I was referring to were the fouls
Mm-hmm.
and not a list. The optics were that you were responding to a question about a list. I mean, that was the question you were responding to, a definitive list, because you know what's in the zeitgeist and what people are looking for. Is there people that are in a position of power that is being protected by the lack of transparency of the Epstein files?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, who? And that has not been released. And I would like to say it's because that there's, again, reality is not as entertaining as the theories that we come up with, and that the reality is everything that was released in 2015 when he was incriminated was what's available.
Mm-hmm.
We know who was on the island, we know who was in the black book, and we know who was on the flight logs. And again, it wasn't limited to the trips to the island, but Jeffrey Epstein often moved clients just like and this is one dude, man, and I can't put my finger on it why, but he just moves in a way that makes me just feel uncomfortable. It says Michael Rubin at Fanatics. It's like this brother's doing the Hampton parties, but if it ever comes out, and again, I'm not saying there's anything that Michael Rubin done or hasn't done, or I'm speculating anything, but let's say if it ever comes out that this man was involved in sexual deviation of any kind, sex trafficking, whatever, you know how many people would just lose their reputation just strictly from association? How many parties this brother has thrown in the Hamptons? How many high-profile celebrities have taken pictures with him? And it's like, I don't want to say just because you got on a jet, just because you were at a party, that automatically makes you incriminated. Mm-hmm. But for sure, if you name your jet the Lolita Express, and you know what those terms mean, and you were known to go to this island specifically, where we know these things were happening at that time period, then for sure that's incriminating. That it's all but confirmed. But the unfortunate reality is we only have about 7 confirmed names during that time in court filings of people that applies to. And that's a boring reality. Mm-hmm. But we do have plenty of names of people. What's up, friends? Yeah, I'm on phone, bud. But we do have a long list of flights that were also done on his jets domestically here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. Is that automatically make you guilty? In some people's eyes, yes. I try to hold that because I also know what it's like to see people's reputation destroyed, and you ain't had nothing to do with nothing. But you know, it's you become guilty by association. So yeah, man. I think it's interesting, man. I don't like the position of y'all ran a campaign on transparency. And it's either one or two things. The reality is boring, and we all those theories that we had about JFK having 15 shooters and Martin Luther King being set up and ties to Israel and the Epstein list and all this other stuff. Either you got access to the files and realize there's not a whole lot to it, or you found something in there that it's like, well, the whole ship goes down. So we can't tell anybody this, Democrats or Republicans.
I think that if it was boring, I don't think we would even be having this conversation. If there was nothing in there, I don't think they would have a problem releasing shit.
Yeah, again, maybe. The only exception would be is, like I said, if it truly is, hey, we're trying to protect the people that are still involved, and it's illegal to release some stuff, and then obviously there are things of a graphic nature. Like, you're not going to drop a gigabyte of what essentially would be pornography. But if there is people that visited that island, that were involved in human trafficking, that you can mark transactions and say this amount was paid, and then here's his trip log, and then we have video behind that. People should be transparent about that.
Well,
and that's not exposing anybody or bringing up people that may have been involved or putting them at risk. You say, hey, this senator or whoever, this person of power, this CEO, I think they could do that, but I don't know, man. And contrary to what my brother on the phone said, man, look, I think that if we've had two different administrations, well, actually three administrations, come across this information and nobody accessed it, I think it's unlikely that we'll ever fully understand what's in there. It's either nothing or it's a lie, and I don't know if we'll have access to that. That's
yeah, I don't. There's something in there that I don't think that this administration feels comfortable or safe coming, letting out. Maybe another administration might do it or whatever, but it ain't gonna happen here. But I want to before we get out of here, because now we a little bit over time. I want to say this. I'm glad you brought up the whole thing about this administration running on transparency, which I thought was ridiculous at the time. But nonetheless, they did. They talked a lot about tearing down the deep state and and basically showing their hand in politics and showing you what you hadn't been getting from other politicians. And we haven't seen any of that. We've seen a whole lot of bullshitting and worse than other administrations. And I say that is worse than other administrations as far as the transparency is concerned, is because other administrations did not promise you transparency. They didn't run on that.
Listen to this part. The credibility of Pam Bondi was shot all the way back to George Bush.
Yo, that bitch shot a dog, son.
We can't believe shit Pam Bondi did.
Dog. Yo, man, I'm not fucking with nobody that would shoot their dog and brag about that shit, dog. That ain't cool. That ain't cool, man. Yo, that's crazy. That's like saying, yeah, I mean, my grandmother was too sick, so I just finished her off. I ain't gonna be having her all suffering and shit like that. I Kevorkian and my grandma. Y'all mad?
I mean, with Pam Bondi back then, helping with the election of George W. Bush, her credibility been shot. So you can't believe shit. I call her, she's Queen Deflector. She walks around with them bracelets that Wonder Woman have on. Because as soon as you say something, she starts to flex.
Yeah, she full of shit. That joint full of shit.
Yeah.
But all of them are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the default settings. Biden, Kamala, Biden. Oh, and can't forget Obama. Motherfucker, what about you? What are you doing? You're the one. You in the hot seat right now. You are the president. Again. Once again, you're the president. And you want to talk about what everybody else didn't do. Even when you win, you talk about even cats that you didn't run against. You know what I mean? President Obama is living rent free in your head and all of that shit, and your minions go for this dumb shit. All right, but there comes a time when you ran on transparency, and that's because that's what you wanted. You put it out there that everybody else was lying except for you. Meanwhile, you can't even stand up to a regular fact check. You can't stand up to a book. A book will shatter you. So you get rid of people who ask you questions where facts matter. Because to you, facts doesn't matter. The majority matters. All that matters is how many people are listening, tuning in, and commenting. No, nothing else matters. All right, fine. You said that you were going to tear down the deep state, and you've done nothing but become the deep state. I mean, your own fucking medical records. We can't even fucking see. Every president before you has had to be transparent with their medical records. Not you. Not you. Every president has been transparent with their tax returns. Not you. So you came in with deep state fucking ideals and methods. Yet you wanna threaten to snitch on everybody. You Sammy the bull ass motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Don't nobody want to hear that. So
Yeah.
I mean, come on, and why don't you just do a decent enough job to whereas you become easy to defend by your supporters? You make their job hard as fuck. You make it hard as shit because you always into something. You always into something. Like, for those of y'all who weren't here in the beginning of the show, I was saying that dealing with Trump is like dealing with a kid who has gone to an amusement park for the first time. They see all of these rides and they don't know which one to get on. But what they find out is that they can't just go and jump on the ride. You gotta get the fuck out of here. So you have to go. You have to not only meet the height requirement, but you have to stand in these long ass lines before you get on any ride. So it changes the way you think about whether you're going to be able to have time enough to get on all of these rides that you want to get on, because you can't jump right off of one and get into another one. What you do is you jump right off of one ride and get into another line. So you realize, in order for me to conquer this park, I need time. And that's the same thing we're dealing with Trump. He's giving you all of these seeds of chaos. So or should I say in this example, all of these different amusement park rides of chaos. So you got the high swings over here. You got the Ferris wheel over here. You got 3 roller coasters over there. You got the what's that? The Flying Bobs. That's what it was in a local carnival. But it's that carousel where you sit in the seat alongside somebody and they play music and it just goes around and around. It's not a dangerous ride at all, but it's a lot of fun. You just have all of these rides. You got the log flume, the water rides, and all this old shit. But that's you're not finishing anything. You don't complete anything. Everything is open-ended. Everything is left, that needs to be completed. You didn't complete the wall in your first administration. You're having a hell of a time with immigration in this administration. You're claiming that you're going to end 2 wars in 24 hours and inflation and all that. You give your people too much shit to have to defend you on, and they can't do it. They don't have the type of energy that you do, and it's not their job. I don't even know why they take on a job anyway. They're not getting paid shit. I could see if they were one of those billionaires waiting on those big ass tax cuts. It ain't like that. But let's see. JW says, "What the hell are you talking about? You idiot! I'm talking about your mom. You know what I mean? That pussy stink. You know what I mean? I fingered her. I fingered her before, and I'm like, yo, what is this? I mean, JW mom was different. Like the pussy. Yeah, I ain't never seen no shit like this. The pussy smelled like breath, and the breath smelled like fish. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, this is not a good. This was strange. You know what I mean? I was gonna wear a condom anyway.
JW mom got she got a yeast infection and she got a urinary tract infection.
Listen, I ain't never.
Call that they call that a seafood broil with garlic bread.
Her mouth smelled like fish and the pussy smelled like breath. like I said, I was going to use a condom anyway. I decided that maybe we should just cuddle. I don't normally, when I invite a woman over to Netflix and chill, I don't normally want to just Netflix and chill. This time I said, you know what? Let's watch, we fuck that romantic. We go, hey, didn't they come up with a new Avengers movie? Let's do that. Let's do that. You know what I mean? Here, get up under my wing, but turn your face that way. We gonna chill. Shit, fuck it. You know what I mean? You made the ride over here. I ain't gonna put you out, but I'm not fucking you. That's that. No. I just got a clean bill of health. I just got a clean. No. All right, listen, yo. I gotta get on up out of here. I gotta get on up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I gotta get back.
Right.
Listen, Dillard, I appreciate you calling in, my dude, and my brother Troy. You know what it is. You know exactly what it is. Good looking.
You damn right, bro. We going brother for life, bro. And Carl, it's been nice meeting you, good brother.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, y'all be safe.
All right, be safe, bro.
Peace. So yeah, that's how it's going down. All right, let's see what the final results of the poll was. I think the last time we checked it was like 44 votes. We've stepped up to 77 votes. Do you believe that Trump is being straight with the American public, or does it matter to you? 52% says no, he's lying through his teeth. 19% says he's our president and he's great. And 17% says he's better than Biden, so what? And 12% says the most incompetent president ever. That's what I would have voted for, because that motherfucker is off the chain with not knowing how to do. He should brand, since he brands everything else, he should brand not knowing what the fuck you're doing. I think it would be a good idea, personally. Let's do these birthday shout-outs. We have some birthday shout-outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious July 7th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special, because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Number one out the box. My people's Tim Barnes. Happy birthday to you, Tim. And also my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. I said my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Happy birthday, my brother. One love. And Key Yamaya, a go-getter. Go-getter, Key Yamaya. Happy birthday to you. And Ja Collins. Happy birthday, Valencia Williams. Teresa So Blessed Campbell, Linda Pfeiffer Spite, and Rosalind Brown. Brown. And I believe that's the last one. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that the day finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious July 7th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out. Rock on to do the damn to rock out. Rock on to do the damn rock out. Rock on to do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen, this Trump shit, one thing we can definitely depend on in this administration is that you're always going to have some more shit to have to defend him on. You're always going to have some more chaos. You're always going to have some more misunderstanding. You're always going to have some more messiness. You're always going to have something to scratch your head about. You're always going to have something to talk about every single day. He sets the news cycle, and that's not a good thing. It's not a positive thing. But if you are a Trump supporter, hey, you better always have your weapons on you because you're going to always have to defend him. You know what? I should be a fly on the wall with Trump supporters, a bunch of them, because I want to see a bunch of them in one room agreeing on everything that he does, because I think that would be interesting. Like, so all of y'all agree with all of this shit. Like, it's what you asked for. Really. I would like to see how that happens. As it is, we don't get that. But I want to say peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night, 2 a.m. in the morning for another Daily Go Get 'Em show. So come on through. Listen, please hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, become a member. If you have subscribed to the channel, it's a good look. Hit the like button, though. If you don't do nothing else, it helps the channel. The channel needs help. It helps the channel. Channel needs help. Helps the channel. Channel needs help. We're going to do this thing straight go for self. All right. So we're going to get on up out of here. Yo, y'all be good. You know, at this hour, you either getting ready to go to work or getting ready to go to bed, which either one it is. Have a good one. Bill Desmond says, later, liberals. Well, I mean, Trump is not a conservative, so, like, what the fuck? What would you call him? The opposite of a liberal is a conservative. He ain't no conservative. That motherfucker spend money like, yo, he's ridiculous. All right. I want to say one thing before I go. Fuck Trump. No. Fuck Maga. He's not a Republican, my dude. Come on, man. See, this is what I'm saying. He's not a Republican. He's a lifelong Democrat. Like, come on. I mean, you. Oh, so you like motherfuckers who switch sides? Tisk, tisk, tisk. It's like an Eagles fan becoming a Cowboys fan or vice versa. Like, get the fuck out of here. Stay over there. Holla. Peace, y'all.